Hello Home Chef, welcome to the wildlife. I'm Will and this is my playground. In this episode, I'm trying to test a new recipe. As you can see probably here, everything is vegetarian. Yes, I'm going to be trying to make a vegetarian dumpling. Part of the reason why wanting to do this, well, trying something new and wanted to do more plant-based recipes. So what do we have? We have a firm tofu. I put it in the presser, press for about, a few hours, so it's really firm. Get the extra moisture out of it, and I'm just gonna crumble it instead of going to like dice it up or anything. I'm just gonna crumble it, see how it goes. This will remain the texture and almost like ground meat substitute. You can easily use Impossible burgers or things like those substitutes instead of ground meat. I just like to use everything that I know what's in there. Okay. The tofu is generally good crumbly, doesn't have really big lumps. Just gonna wash my hand and carry on to the rest. So I'm putting in today, have the shredded carrots. I think carrots, it comes in quite handy. And I have some mushroom and also dry radish. It's a very common thing that you can find in Chinese grocery stores. They have just adds a nice crunch and flavor as well. It is brine, so it's quite salty. So I will have to measure how much like soy sauce I'll be putting in. Instead of the radish today, you can also use the wood ear, which is commonly used in vegetarian dishes as well. It might have a bit too much cabbage. I'll put in half to start. For the aromatics, I'm using latza onion. I have kind of quite a bit on hand, so put it all in. And also some ginger, just add a little bit more warmth to it. Okay. So I'm gonna give it a quick stir, just kind of mix it to see how the volume is before I start seasoning. This is definitely a better sized bowl. I'm not seeing a whole lot of cabbage in here, so I think I can put in the rest. I do like how the carrots kind of sprinkle throughout. I think it's a really good mix. I just want to see if we can clump together. When you kind of squeeze it a little bit, it does come into a clump. It can just crumble apart when you put it into the rubber, and then once you eat it, it can fall everywhere. So I kind of want to check on that. But I'm going to use a little bit of cornstarch to kind of mix again to bind everything together. So seasoning, I'm using sesame oil. I kind of use sesame oil in all my dumplings. A bit of soy sauce, not too much. Again, we have that radish in there already, and white pepper. Lots of white pepper to add the flavor in there. So I'm actually making a pasta today instead of a dumpling because it comes together a lot quicker and stores quite well. And when you're in the pinch, instead of boiling a big pot of water, you can just send them into the frying pan. Okay. I learned a new trick recently is that on these dishes, you can see it's still very crumbly. It's not really coming together into a clump. And the chef has used pureed pumpkin. So I'm gonna try to add it in a little bit and see if it binds better instead of cornstarch. So I've got a little bit of canned pumpkin here. Just gonna add some in. I think the flavor is pretty subtle. It's not really going to disrupt the flavor altogether. And we'll see how it goes. See if it how it binds everything together. I've never tried this technique before. Already I can see it's helping to bind the crumbliness together. I think it's at the right consistency. It's time for some wrapping. We're ready to go. I have my pan here ready. Instead of using water, I still have some dry mushroom the water that I rehydrated with. So this is something that my mom has taught me when I was really young to make pasta curds, because the folds are really difficult to manage. So with these kind of pasta curd style, it comes together very quickly, and it's easy for kids as well. I do like having that pumpkin puree. It does help bind everything together, and I'm not using any type of binder or lots of essence flour. So I'm gonna pinch here in the middle, almost like a cannoli, and then we're just gonna seal on both sides. And that's it. That is a pasta curd. So let's see how many we can do very quickly. Okay, so here's about a dozen. Obviously there's a lot more to be made, but let's fry out and see how it goes. I'm just gonna have a little bit of hot pan here. Just medium heat to let it go, and we can start putting them in. The beautiful thing about these pasta curds is even if it's not sealed all the way, and that's fine, it's not gonna burst. Like if you were to put this in the pan. So we're gonna fry up the bottom a little bit, let it crisp up, and then we put in the water to steam it to let it cook all the way through, and then we're gonna crisp up again towards the end. We want to add a little bit more oil. All right, the bottom is nice and crispy, as you can see here. Oh, just making sure the camera can see it. Nice and crispy. And this is where we're adding the liquid to just let it steam. You don't need too much, just about covering all the bottom layer a little bit, and we're just gonna let it steam and come back in just a few minutes. It's looking amazing. We're just gonna boil off a little bit of the water. The wrapping is thoroughly cooked through, and it'll be good to go. I think they're ready to go. Let's pick them up and plate them on here. A little sticky, that's why it's called pasta curd. Just gently push. Give it a little quick taste and see how it goes. Everything is coming together nicely. I think the pumpkin, you don't really taste too much with the pumpkin, but everything stays intact. Still has a little bit of bite from the cabbage. I really like this. I think this is a good mixture that will continue. Let me know how it turns out. Until next time, keep on cooking. And I realized one thing, this bowl is definitely too small.